Happy Thursday, everybody. May has been put in the books and June has begun. Will it be a June swoon or just a June moon? This is Mornings with Michael for informational and educational purposes only. So let's get to the news. The bull bear spread in American Association of Individual Investors, AAII, weekly survey was 7.7% versus 12.3% last week. Bulls rise to 29.1% from 27.4. Neutrals rose to 34.1 from 32.9, and bears fall to 36.8 from 39.7. China may Caixin manufacturer PMI final 50.9 versus 49.5. Japan quarter one biz capex 11% year over year versus 6% consensus. On to consumer. Chewy, CHWY shares rise 17% after results. First quarter EPS 20 cents versus 4-cent loss. Hormel Foods HRL quarter two EPS 40 cents in line with consensus. Nordstrom JWN quarter one EPS 7 cents versus estimated loss of 8 cents. PVH Corp, PVH, quarter one EPS $2.14 versus $1.93 estimate. Victoria's Secrets, VSCO, quarter one adjusted EPS 28 cents below estimated 54 cents. Wow, that is a big miss. Lucid LCID said it plans to raise about $3 billion through a stock offering, nearly 2/3 of which will come from Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund, PIF. Swiss watch exports to the U.S. declined for the first time in more than 2 years as exports to the U.S. fell by 4.9% in April, the Federation of Swiss Watch Industry said Thursday. Energy, industrials, and materials. The American Petroleum Institute said crude stocks rose by 5.2 million barrels, million with an M, in the week ended May 26. Gasoline inventories rose by about 1.9 million, while distillate inventories gained about 1.8 million. Under pressure from Saudi Arabia, OPEC has banned journalists from Reuters, the Wall Street Journal, and Bloomberg from attending the group's ministerial meeting in Vienna this weekend. A California judge on Wednesday dismissed all charges against Pacific Gas and Electric, PCG, in connection with the 2020 fatal wildfire sparked by its equipment that destroyed hundreds of homes. DHT Holdings, DHT, announced that it has entered into an agreement to acquire VLCC, built in 2018 at Hyundai Heavy Industries, HHI, for $94.5 million. Renee Sola, SOL, first quarter EPS 0 versus estimate of 4 cents. Southwest Airlines, LUV, said quarter two capacity and CASMX are expected to be in line with previous guidance. Healthcare, Novan Pharmaceuticals, NOVN, targets PDUFA date of January 5th, 2024 for Berdazimer gel, says cutting 50% of employees. NovaBay Pharmaceuticals and BY files to offer up to 7.9 million shares of common stock from time to time by selling stockholders. Phreesia, PHR, first quarter adjusted EBITDA, $13.8 million loss on revenues of $83.8 million. On to technology, media, and telecom. Salesforce, CRM, quarter one EPS $1.69 versus estimate $1.61. CrowdStrike, CRWD, first quarter adjusted EPS 57 cents versus estimate of 51 cents. it looked like both of those stocks after hours were closing down. We'll take a look at what some of those are doing. C3 AI sees first quarter revenue 70 million to 72 million versus estimate of 72.1 million. Credo, CRDO, fourth quarter adjusted EPS 4-cent loss versus estimate of 4-cent loss on 32.1 million versus estimate of 31.19 million. NCNO, first quarter EPS 7 cents versus estimate 5 cents. NetApp, NTAP, fourth quarter adjusted EPS $1.54 versus $1.34 on revenues of a 1.58 billion versus estimate of 1.54 billion. Guides first quarter revenues 1.325 to 1.475 billion. Okta, first quarter EPS 22 cents versus estimate 13 cents on revenues of 518 million. Their shares were down yesterday as well after hours. Pure Storage, PSTG, first quarter adjusted operating profit 19.6 million versus estimate of 10.29 million. Wow, that's quite a beat. Viva, VEEV, first quarter adjusted EPS 91 cents versus estimate of 79 cents. And finally, American Semiconductor, AMSC, fourth quarter adjusted EPS 28-cent loss versus estimate of 20 cents on revenues of 31.74 million versus estimate of 28.25 million. And that's our news for today. Let's go look at our screens. Looks like stocks were jumping. Not on holdings. So let's take a look at our zero VIX. Zero VIX is actually up right now. It had sold off and is up. It's at 1794. Look at the S&P 500. That's odd. Both the VIX and the S&P 500 are up. Go figure. I can't recall seeing that before. S&P 500 is bouncing off of its 10 and 20-day moving averages. The NASDAQ is up as well. The Dow Jones is bouncing off of the 200-day moving average. And our small caps are moving up as well. Let's take a look at semiconductor index bouncing back after a rough day yesterday. Look at our technology bouncing back. Software climbing back as well. And there we have that. Let's take a look at some of the issues that were in the news. CrowdStrike sold off, but is fighting back valiantly. CRM gap down, but it is also battling back. Okta gapped way down to its 200-day moving average. That's not a good sign, off about 20%, pretty close to it. Just take I'll mention this at the close, but had some sad news from the Investors Business Daily family yesterday. Someone who It's really meant a lot to me, learning about the market. William O'Neill passed away yesterday at the age of 90. Let's see. U-Power, China-based distributor of comprehensive battery power solution, up 236% this morning. Ambarella is up. We'll see if it can fill this gap here. Is up 4.65%. Frontline, it hit its 50-day moving average and has sold off now. Look at some other issues. Exploration of uranium is up really big time today. Look at that huge volume. The one that I really like, even though it has a low dollar amount, is DNN. Usually rides with CCJ. Is up about 8%. See if it can get above its 200-day moving average. Take a look at our handy little chart that seems to be shy. Opera, Norwegian-based web browsing company, up 12.7%. Trip.com, Chinese consolidator of hotels, it's up just barely. It still can't get above its 200-day moving average. So EU up about 12%. New Oriental growth, some strong volume, but it still we'll have to check the end of the day to see if it has beaten out the selling volume. Air Test Systems had sold off a little bit yesterday, and now it is bouncing back. It looks like it's breaking out of its consolidation. Pretty strong volume. Best volume in a long time. PagerDuty, 2.76. Earnings are due today. Super Microcomputer has gone from breaking out around 70 to 230. Hit a peak. A lot of people were talking about the climax, me being one of them. $242.99. We'll see if it can consolidate and take another run. NetEase, not doing too much. Still under its major averages. Datadog. Looks like a pretty tight shelf pattern here. Probably waiting for some news, some sort. I'd continue to watch this one. The networking area, Stream Networks, looks like it's continuing a lot of buying in here. Its earnings came in at 38%. Relative strength to the S&P 500 is 95. You could say that it has had a breakout. Just draw the line. Broke out right here. We'll just continue to watch it. See what other ETFs are doing. Financial sector, not really making much of a move. The consumer sector looks like it's continuing to lead. Communications, which has been leading all along. This is where Meta, Google, Apple are located. Materials sector not doing too much. Home construction, trying to bounce off of its 50-day moving average. Transportation. So that about wraps it up, what we're going to look at today. Hope you enjoyed our brief look at the markets. If you have any questions, feel free to ping us. This has been Mornings with Michael for informational, educational purposes only. And we look forward to seeing you on final Friday, or we should say first Friday of June. Once again, our sympathies to the William O'Neill family. We are going to take a call here, but William O'Neill has meant so much to the personal savings and investing for families and individuals. And I personally met him in New York at the Grand Hyatt. He's meant a lot to me, and we're going to dearly miss him. So that's it for our show today. We look forward to seeing you on Friday.